1. Awakening in the first battle. Every day you wake up, you have a battle before you. It's not a physical battle, nor a war fought with swords or guns. It's a silent, constant, invisible war. A mental battle that begins the exact moment you open your eyes. That moment, that second your alarm clock rings, isn't just the beginning of the day. It's the first battle against your weakest self, against your comfort, your excuses, your desire to put off life. The choice to hit the snooze button, that seemingly innocent gesture of sleeping just 5 more minutes, is actually a pact with mediocrity. It's choosing the path of least effort before you've even set foot on the ground. It's telling the universe, I'm not ready today, when you should be shouting, here I am, ready to fight. And it may seem like a minor detail, an act of no consequence, but it isn't, because that first decision sets the tone for your entire day. If you give up on the small things, you get used to giving up on the big things. If you give into the comfort of bed, what makes you think you won't give into a challenge, a temptation, a real problem later on? The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. Every morning, your alarm clock asks you a silent question. Are you going to dominate this day? Or are you going to let this day dominate you? The battlefield isn't outside. It's in your mind. That's where it's decided whether you'll act with commitment or apathy. That's where the habit of winning is formed, or potential is buried in the lukewarmness of repetition. It's not just about waking up early. It's about building an identity. About getting up even when you don't feel like it. Even when you don't have an important appointment. Even when the world expects nothing of you, because you do expect something for yourself. Because you have a standard. And that standard is demonstrated in small actions, not in speeches, not in grand goals posted on social media, but in the decision not to fail yourself even in the most basic thing. Getting up. The bed thus becomes your first trench. The struggle between what you want now and what you want more. Between momentary satisfaction and the self-discipline that forges legends. Every time you choose to get up, you are training your mind. You are teaching yourself that you are reliable, that you can count on yourself, that you don't need motivation because you have the will. And that simple act, repeated over and over again, becomes the foundation of an unstoppable life. Maybe no one sees it. Maybe no one congratulates you for getting up early and doing your duty. But you will know that you won your first battle. Because in the end, how you start your day is a reflection of how you live your life. Do you start by giving in, or do you start by conquering? Your choice, every morning, with every alarm, with every battle. 2. Discipline versus motivation. Motivation is a luxury. It comes when it wants. It goes when it wants. It's like a gust of wind. Sometimes it pushes you. Sometimes it disappears and leaves you alone in the middle of the road. Motivation is emotion, and like any emotion, it's volatile, unstable, uncontrollable. And if you base your life on motivation, you're building on sand. Because there will be days when you don't feel like doing anything. Days when your body aches. When your mind is cloudy. When you question everything. Days when there's no clear reason to act. And that's where discipline comes in. Discipline doesn't need an invitation. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't need perfect weather or emotional energy. Discipline is a silent pact with yourself. I will do what I have to do. Period. It doesn't matter if I feel like it or not. That's the difference. Motivation is what gets you started. Discipline is what keeps you going. Anyone can start something and inspire, but who keeps going when inspiration disappears? Who trains when their body is exhausted? Who works when their mind screams for rest? Who keeps their word when there are no witnesses? When there are no rewards? When there is no motivation? That's discipline. And that's what makes you unstoppable. Discipline is acting without feeling. It's putting your best foot forward even when you're destroyed. It's sitting down to study even when you're bored. It's sticking to your routine when no one asks you to, when no one is watching, when everything inside you whispers to put off until tomorrow. Because the key isn't wanting to do things. The key is doing them no matter what. People fail not because they lack talent, but because they depend on feeling motivated. But motivation tires. It fades. It abandons you in the most critical moments. Discipline, on the other hand, strengthens you every time you choose it. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And there comes a point where you no longer question whether you're going to do what needs to be done. You just do it. It's not about emotions. It's about character. It's not about the environment being favorable. It's about you being unbreakable. It's not about waiting to be ready. It's about starting and getting smart along the way. Because life doesn't reward those who wait to feel motivated. Life rewards those who act with discipline. Those who understand that feelings are fleeting, but decisions have lasting consequences. Motivation is wanting. Discipline is deciding. And only those who consistently decide achieve the extraordinary. So stop looking for inspiration and start building structure. Stop wondering if you will feel like it today and start wondering if you're going to keep your word today. Get up, follow through, do what you said you were going to do. No excuses, no emotion, no permission. That's the difference between those who dream and those who achieve. 3, the excellence mindset. Settling for what's easy is the first step toward a life you'll never remember. Because what's easy never transforms, never shapes, never challenges. What's easy gently embraces you, while silently stealing your true potential. Mediocrity doesn't arrive suddenly. It settles in slowly, disguised as comfort, as reasonable excuses, as I've done enough for today. It hides in phrases like, I'll do it tomorrow. It's not that big a deal. At least I did something. But if you don't monitor your mind, those phrases become habits. And those habits become an identity. The identity of someone who gives up easily, who never demands more of themselves. Greatness doesn't dwell in comfort. It never has. No one who's made a mark on this world did so by taking the shortcut. No leader, no teacher, no role model ever got far by doing the bare minimum. Do you want a life out of the ordinary? Then you can't behave like an ordinary person. Excellence isn't a goal, it's a mindset. It's a way of life. It's not about seeking recognition or impressing others. It's about honoring your ability, your conscience, your personal commitment to what you know you can be. And that mindset is forged in the details. In staying 15 minutes longer when no one demands it. In repeating the process once more even though you've already done it well. In rejecting mediocrity even though no one is looking. Doing only the bare minimum is equivalent of willfully stagnating. There is no real progress in doing the bare minimum. The bare minimum doesn't transform you, doesn't stretch you, doesn't expose you to the pain that shapes character. Do you want to move forward? Then make going above and beyond your daily norm, not your occasional exception. Do it when it won't be noticed. Do it when you don't feel like it. Do it when others stop. True success is born from brutal discipline, the kind that doesn't need applause, the kind that comes about in the dark, the kind that sets standards that others don't understand because they aren't willing to live with that intensity. And here's the key. Your standard must come from within, not from the outside world, not from other people's opinions, not from approval. Because if you live seeking validation, you'll always be at the mercy of others' judgment. But if you define your standard and it's non-negotiable, then you've already won. Because nothing and no one can lower you. The mindset of excellence is looking at your reflection and knowing that you did more than necessary. It's go to bed at night knowing that you gave 100%, even though there was no obligation to do so. It's understanding that every day is an opportunity to surpass your best version. You don't compete with anyone, only with what you know you can become. And the most powerful thing of all, when you live with excellence, you don't just change your destiny, you become an example. You will inspire others not with your words, but with your way of being in the world. It won't be easy, it won't be comfortable, but it will be worth every second. Because while most people seek validation from others, you choose to excel because you know you deserve it. 4, the constant test. Every day is a test, a silent, constant evaluation that doesn't warn or give second chances. It doesn't come with warnings or ask if you're ready. Life simply tests you, always, and it's not an academic test. It's a test of character, of commitment, of integrity, of how much you're willing to give, even when no one is forcing you. True tests don't come with a bang. They come in the small moments, in the decisions that seem harmless, When you can lie and no one will notice. When you can put in less effort and still pass. When you can take the shortcut and justify it with logic. That's where who you are is measured. Because you don't need the world watching to know if you did the right thing. You know, and that inner knowing is the voice you can never silence. The constant test is internal. It's between you and your conscience. Are you going to be faithful to what you said you would do? Are you going to keep your promises when you no longer feel like fulfilling them? Are you going to give your all when you could give half as much and still make it? That's what shapes you. Not the result, not the medal, not the applause. What defines you is how you act when no one is watching. Real life isn't built on stages. It's built in silence. In the early mornings when you choose to work, when you could sleep, in the gray days when you decide to deliver, even though everything hurts. In the weeks when no one recognizes you and you keep going, because you're not doing this for recognition. You're doing it for purpose. It's not about proving. It's about sustaining. Because anyone can show strength for a day, but excellence isn't in a momentary spark. It's in a flame that never goes out, that burns even without external oxygen. Every time you choose to fulfill your purpose despite tiredness, boredom, or silence, you are becoming invincible. You are building a character that doesn't depend on the environment, an approach that doesn't need everything to be perfect to act. And that's the most dangerous thing you can be. Someone who doesn't stop. The test never ends. You will never reach a point where life says, that's it, now rest forever. No, each level you conquer opens a door to a more demanding one. And that's okay, because you didn't come into this world to be comfortable. You came to grow, to expand, to evolve. So the question isn't, when will this fight end? The real question is, am I willing to keep fighting even if it never ends? And if the answer is yes, then you've already won. Because while others look for a point of arrival, you have become part of the process. You have understood that living in test mode is living in progress mode. So don't be afraid of the challenge. Don't shy away from the demands. Every time life tests you, it's asking you, are you ready to become who you said you would be? And you, with a tired body but a burning soul, answer, yes, here I am. Try me again.